Ladies and gentlemen, it's Anna and Molly!
Hey, sneak peekers, I'm Anna.
I'm Molly, and live from Austin,
It's Tuesday night! I'm not your musical guest or your host.
And neither am I, but we're here to talk about our most anticipated movie of the year.
That's right. Thanks to our friends at Fonz PR, last week we had an awesome opportunity to catch an early screening of Saturday Night, a retelling of the chaotic backstage of the first ever Saturday Night Live broadcast.
And to say it was chaotic is putting it lightly. The movie takes us on an exciting and anxiety-inducing whirlwind of the hour and a half leading up to the first show, and it left us here at Sneak Peek looking very professional.
Oh, please, I wouldn't say that. We're very professional here at Sneak Peek.
Remember how this was supposed to be a prereq?
No, I don't. I wasn't at the meeting.
Right.
Well, it's just because, like Lorne Michaels, I like to keep everyone on their toes.
Is that also why you submitted this script about an hour ago?
Exactly. It was all to emulate the feeling of Saturday night. It's really just one of those movies that feel like you're just going up and up and up on the roller coaster, even if it makes you sick.
Well, lots of things make me sick.
She's vegan.
And a lover of SNL. I loved getting to see a backstage view of a show that I've been watching for years. The duration of the film was consistent with the countdown to the live show, creating a palpable tension in the theater. It really felt like we were part of the crew of the first SNL show. The only thing that took me out of the experience was when our waiter served me my buffalo cauliflower wings at Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, Grayson. And as a lover of the never-ending popcorn bucket and the guests of SNL, this cast was my dream lineup, with stars like Rachel Sennett and Dylan O'Brien having cheeky and hilarious scenes together, all the way to equally supporting actors that were so hilarious, of Corey Michael Smith, Ella Hunt, Lamorne Morris, and Kim Matula, that brought such a raw and real aspect of the rising actors of the 70s. They really knocked it out of the park.
With a cast so full of stars, I love to see the true star of this movie, Lorne Michaels, who is played by Gabriel LaBelle, someone who's a little less known but is totally going to get his big break with this movie.
And for the first time ever, I agree with Molly. LaBelle's performance guided the audience to feel exactly what he was going through as it happened, making me feel like I was Andrew Barth Feldman's character of his cousin and assistant.
When really we were more like Finn Wolfhard's character, who had just about the same amount of screen time as our bathroom breaks.
Despite everyone knowing that SNL was and still is a huge hit, during the movie the audience feels uneasy about the future of the show.
Just how uneasy we felt when we heard we had to be on camera together again.
Do not go watch that one and only show that we were ever allowed to host together. It's the Thanksgiving special on YouTube, by the way.
Clearly my voice needs a rest, so
let me take it from here and let's roll the intro.
Hey Sneak Peekers!
I'm Nolan.
And I'm Gavin.
And we're your actual hosts for today's episode.
Yeah, we don't know who let those two run the show, but now that you're in the qualified and capable hands of your head writers. So let's get into some news, shall we?
Sure, Gavin. To start off, we have some bad news. Musician and actor Donald Glover, or Childish Gambino on stage, is canceling his tour for health reasons.
Glover postponed his Houston show in September due to an illness and postponed the rest of the North American tour shortly after.
Now he's decided to cancel all the American and European dates after visiting a hospital in Houston and scheduling surgery for an undisclosed illness.
Glover says on X that he wants nothing more than to bring this show to his fans and perform, and thanks everyone for the love, privacy, and their support.
We at Sneak Peek wish him a speedy recovery.
Daniel Day-Lewis is returning from 7 years of retirement to act again, this time for his son's first feature film.
The three-time Oscar winner will star in Anemone to be directed by his son, Ronan.
Not much is known about the movie, but NPR reports that it'll tackle themes of intergenerational family bonds.
That's pretty fitting for a father-son collaboration, if you ask me.
What may not be so fitting is Keanu Reeves in the Indy 500.
Mr. John Wick himself made his professional racing debut on Saturday, competing in the Toyota GR Cup.
During the race, Reeves lost control of his car and spun out while taking a turn, but thankfully he kept driving and he's okay.
He finished in 25th place out of 35 racers.
Not the best, but definitely not bad for a first race.
Hey, at least Keanu didn't crash out completely.
That's right. Joker and Megalopolis are crashing and burning in the box office right now.
In Megalopolis' opening weekend, it made $4 million, a morsel of its $140 million budget.
And Joker isn't doing much better. Folie d'Oeil made a little under $30 million in its first weekend, and while it's better than Megalopolis, the first Joker made that same amount in a single day.
And its budget was more than Megalopolis' at $200 million.
But enough about bad movies. Our Hispanic Heritage Month movie rec of the day is The Official Story, a historical drama about a mother and her illegally adopted daughter during the military dictatorship of Argentina.
Our social media coordinator, Carol, says it's a beautiful and accurate critique of the Argentinian regime.
Check out that movie when you have the chance, but for now, stay tuned.
We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. With Halloween quickly approaching, we at Sneak Peek have been getting into our holiday spirit.
Yep, that's why our next segment has to do with one of my deepest, darkest fears.
Oh yeah? And what would that be?
The food service industry.
Ugh, wow, that is scary.
I know, right? Thankfully, Anna was willing to brave it for us at the red carpet premiere of House of Spoils, a new horror film about a chef struggling to battle the spirits that previously inhabited her new restaurant.
Anna had a chance to talk with Ariana DeBois, the Oscar-winning actress who stars as the chef.
Fortunately, she was everything but scary. But don't take it from me, here's Anna. Take it away.
Hey Sneak Peekers, it's Anna and I'm at Fantastic Fest to interview the cast and crew of House of Spoils. And I've been following your career and I love everything that you've done. So knowing some of the previous work that you've done in some roles, this is a little bit of a transition, right? It's nothing like Wish, nothing like West Side Story.
Definitely a departure. I wanted to do something that really challenged me in a different way, in ways I had yet to be challenged. When Bridget and Danielle offered me the part, and I sat down with them, I was like, what on earth made you think that this was good for me? And they were like, we just think you can do it. And I was like, all right, well then I guess I'll try. And it stretched me in a lot of ways, both as an actor, it stretched the way I think about work and how I approach my work, and I don't know. I certainly didn't expect to make a horror/thriller film, but it was a great experience. That's why I'm just like, do not judge a book by its cover. Don't do it.
And I want to know a little bit more about Chef and your character and what do you feel like she represents in this story?
Yeah, well, Chef to me felt like the every woman, you know, and honestly, a little bit of the every man. She's the every human. I think anyone who has really taken a big risk and like chosen to pursue a goal in a very big way can relate to this person and their journey, the journey that they're on. I think Chef is a product of her work environment, the work environment that she's worked very hard to climb the ranks of. But I think sometimes in these male-dominant environments, there's a lot of toxicity that we don't really realize that we've taken on until we go to try and build our own work or build our own thing, and some of that toxicity starts to splay out. And then you got to address it and decide, is this really the way? Or is there a better way for me? Can I embrace my softness or my vulnerability? And is this my true leadership style? Or is this something I learned? And how do I want to be? So I know it's a horror film, but there was something deeper underneath it for me.
I love that. And is that some ways that you feel like you relate to Chef in that way and that you brought from yourself to the character?
Yeah, I definitely asked myself a lot of the same questions, if not at the time of making the film, definitely in the aftermath for sure, as I've grown and had more opportunities. Like, I don't know if people think about it this way, but I certainly do as an actor. Like, I'm a walking business, you know, and I have to lead. It's like, yes, I have a whole host of people who work to help me be able to do the thing that I love to do. They help bring me opportunities. I have my publicists that are here helping me represent myself. Like, I have to lead that group of people. And I am woman enough to acknowledge that, like, as I've grown and been in different environments or in different situations, perhaps I haven't always handled them in the way that I thought I was handling them, and then I've chosen to like address it and change and take a different tactic, because I do think that the industry will be better if we all embrace the things that not only make us unique, but make us soft and make us vulnerable. It's okay. Like, it's okay to not scream. It's okay to, you know, ask for something clearly, calmly, and authoritatively, in the words of Meryl Streep. Anybody? No? And, without like having to use ultimatums. Like I know myself coming from, the Broadway or the theater world at times, it felt like sometimes I was doing business in the face of ultimatums. And I don't actually think that's the best way to work. So I really push myself to not move from that place as a boss. Because I think you can be a boss without being an asshole.
And I agree. I agree. I want to know if you have any tips, tricks, any advice for film students or even theater students that are trying to break into this industry.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be starting out. I mean, I think the greatest thing that I can point out is like be knowledgeable that the industry, both sides of it, are shifting. The tastes are shifting, the studios are shifting what they want to make. Start paying attention to those types of things, because if you're not aware of the different companies, not just the directors, not just the fancy people, but the companies and what they want to make, and then how they're going about making them. What are the size of the budgets? Like, these are things I had to start paying attention to, because film and television does not function in the same way that Broadway does. But it's like, know the business you want to work in, and it's not just about the shiny faces that help to sell the movies. It's about the people behind the scenes who are greenlighting, who are saying yes to getting the movie made. So producers are important, and how you approach them is also important. So think about it. I think that's probably the best thing I could say.
That was perfect.
Thanks, Anna, and be sure to check out House of Spoils, which is available to stream now on Amazon Prime.
For our next segment, Gavin created a video essay review of the new horror film by Coralie Fargo, The Substance.
Yep, I put together a few of my thoughts about one of my favorite horror films of this year. Take it away, and remember, take care of yourself.
Hey Sneak Peekers, my name is Gavin, and I have a question for you. Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Coralie Fargo's new film, The Substance, imagines a world with a unique solution to this question. After Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore, is abruptly fired from her primetime exercise show due to her old age, the washed-up actress seeks a desperate solution in the form of The Substance, a mysterious product that claims to, quote, unlock the user's DNA and create a more perfect version of them. Upon taking the substance, Elizabeth's back rips open, and a young woman, played by Margaret Qualley, emerges. This woman, Sue, is everything Elizabeth was once revered for, even taking over Elizabeth's primetime slot with a new fitness show. For the substance to work, the two must keep a delicate balance, 7 days each, on and off, with no exceptions. It seems absurd, and trust me, it is. The marketing for this film has really undersold how ridiculous this movie can be, in my opinion. But I think what makes The Substance work well as a horror is its construction of an uncanny, surreal reality. Several critics of the film have argued that Fargo's very European understanding of American entertainment and beauty industries comes across as thin social critique, forgoing specific criticisms of American culture for broad strokes, often repetitive satire. For what it's worth, I agree that The Substance isn't subtle, and I'm not exactly sure that I would even call it nuanced. However, I think that Fargo's construction of the film's world is more than just a French person's misguided take on America. The vision of America, and Hollywood specifically, that she develops throughout the film is one recognizable to our own. There's an oppressive mentality against aging women, sleazy producers, and alternative medicine that preys on insecurity. However, in The Substance, Fargo creates a reality where these subjects aren't taboo. Rather, they're the very foundations of society, creating a deeply uncanny sensation. In this world, sexualized fitness shows are number one in America, executives are openly predatory, and a woman grows another woman out of her back. The heightened reflection of our patriarchal world creates a deeply unsettling vibe, and highlights the absurdity of our beauty-driven entertainment industry. In addition to creating an uncanny reflection of the real world, I think The Substance also effectively creates a surreal, dreamlike world of its own, giving the impression that anything can happen throughout the film's runtime. The surreal atmosphere allows for both harrowing body horror and mundane interactions to produce equally uncomfortable emotions, hardly ever allowing the viewer a chance to escape the sinister feeling of this world. In a movie with as much gore as this, I think the scene that made me feel the most disgusted was Dennis Quaid eating shrimp, which is saying something. In addition to heightening the mundane, the surreal setting also allows for some incredible body horror, including a third act that you should just really go see for yourself. While I think that some may be put off by how repetitive this movie's message can be, I found The Substance to be incredibly effective as both an absurdist body horror flick and an uncomfortably distorted reflection of patriarchy in our own entertainment. But that's enough from me. Feel free to let us know your own thoughts on The Substance on Instagram at SneakPeekTV. And now, back to the hosts.
Welcome to our panel. Today we're going to talk about underrated animated movies in honor of the Wild Robot doing so well at the box office. If y'all haven't heard about the movie, it is an animated film about a robot learning how to be a mother in the wild. And yeah, it's doing really good. It's a DreamWorks original, which I don't know about y'all, but I'm stoked about. Like, we haven't had an original IP in animation from one of these big studios in a really long time. So with that being said, I guess we can go around the circle and have everyone introduce their underrated film. And also y'all's names too.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sophie, and the underrated film I'm going to be talking about is Monsters vs. Aliens. So basically, it's this film about where this girl, it's her wedding day, and surprisingly, she gets hit by this radioactive meteor, and then that causes her to grow very large in size, and so she's basically kept in captivity with other monsters, and then they form this little group and go up against aliens to fight them off against the U.S. So they're there eventually to be the saviors for the world, which is kind of unexpected from beings you would call monsters.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. I'm a big fan of anime, and I think that a lot of people who don't watch anime have a very hard time finding movies to kind of introduce themselves to it, or just think it's weird. And I think that there's a lot of really great anime movies on Netflix, such as Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, which is one of my favorites. The animation style is super cute. The colors are super vibrant. It's like a very lighthearted rom-com about these two teens who kind of meet unexpectedly at a mall. One of them expresses like their feelings through haiku, and then the girl is very shy. And yeah, it's just a super cute movie. And I also, some other movies that I think everyone should watch are Your Name, and then Studio Ghibli movies that are more underrated, like Castle in the Sky, Whisper of the Heart. So good. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Evan. I agree as well. I love anime as well. Like, Your Name was really good. I watched it last year. It was really good.
So good.
Yeah. I guess for me, my underrated movie I liked was, it recently has gotten like a lot more praise, is Over the Hedge. If people may not know what Over a Hedge is, the story goes as a fellow raccoon has to pay a debt to a fellow bear, and having to pay the debt would be through food. And so he stumbled upon a family that lives behind the backyard of a suburban home, and they go on a really fun adventure of actually trying to steal food, as well as like trying to learn more about the family and learn about the community. I think that one is more interesting because I grew up watching that, and like grew up watching a lot more DreamWorks and watching, and I saw a lot of praise within different other DreamWorks films, such as Shrek, How You Train Your Dragons, but I never saw a lot more praise for Over the Hedge. So I guess that's my film.
My name is Willie, and I would say my underrated movie is going to make some people upset, but that's okay. It's going to be Cars 2, and it's just really simple. I mean, let's just put it on paper for half a second. You have racing, which is awesome, and you have spies, which are awesome. So, I mean, I feel like the math just checks out. You have double awesome, so it's a double awesome movie. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned it. I'm taking RTF classes, so whenever I mention Cars 2, there's a lot of people that are like, what are you doing? But you know what? I think it's just underrated. I think if you just give it a chance and just kind of see the genius in it, it would do super well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, like, out of all the Cars movies, I remember Cars 2 the most.
I agree.
And so, like,
it worked.
Something about that movie did work.
It did work.
as far as I go, I'm Melody, by the way. I don't know if I said that. My favorite movie my favorite underrated animated movie, and also just one of my favorite movies ever, is The Prince of Egypt. It's a DreamWorks animated film, and it's before they switched to 3D. So there's just a beautiful blend of 2D and a tiny little bit of 3D animation in there. And it is a musical about the story of Moses. And I'm not Christian, but I love that movie so much. They just did not have to go so hard. And again, it's like one of the rare original IP, like just one-of-a-kind movies that didn't get sequels. I mean, I don't know how you'd make sequels of the story of Moses anyway, but yeah. So we can go ahead and talk about what stood out to you about your movie and what drew you to that film.
So my film Monsters vs. Aliens, that was like one of my childhood movies. I would always watch it, mainly because it has like such a silly concept. I mean, like someone getting hit by a radioactive meteor is kind of crazy, and just the overall animation of it. There's one character named Bob, and he's kind of like this Jello-like character, and I always found him very like intriguing because he was like kind of like the comedic relief, and just his character design was very different to other animation I had seen before. Again, the storyline just with of the aliens themselves, and different scenes. Like there's this scene where they're attacking like the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's like this part where the girl gets like on these cars and is like trying to navigate herself down the bridge, and it was just, I don't know, that's one of the parts of the movie that stayed with me. And of course, like there's this really like silly scene of like the president trying to make peace with the aliens by playing a keyboard, and so I've seen that be like a very viral meme. But otherwise, those are like the main parts that stood out to me, and that's why I love mentioning it.
Nice. I think for me, I don't know if I was in the mood to start a new show, like an anime series, and so I was just scrolling on Netflix and finding thumbnails that looked really cute, and I saw words bubble up like soda pop, and I clicked on it, and I was like, okay, this looks nice, and I looked up the reviews, because I do that a lot. I always look at like the Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, and it had a 100% review from Rotten Tomatoes, so I was like, I need to watch this, and then I watched it, and I loved it. It reminded me I really like the Studio Ghibli animation style, and this was a little bit more bright and eccentric, but it reminded me a lot of the Ghibli style in terms of how like the characters were animated and how their faces were shown, and just like that lighthearted vibe and good feel that a lot of Ghibli movies give you. And yeah, I loved it. Would totally recommend.
Yeah, for mine, for Overhead, just like growing up watching it, like I think it was more my comfort movie I watched. I think I really liked it because there was also really good like animation, like transitions, really funny. Like I constantly remember the scene where there was the bear like the moon transitioned to a potato chip, and like he took a bite of it and just like, ate the chip and then made a crescent, which that was a really scene that like I remember constantly. And as well as the scenes are more the learning of, well, it's like learning that like being on your own doesn't mean like you're not alone, and more like you can find community within yourself and community within the people around you, even though it's a small time, like you get to know them. But I think that's why I really love the movie.
I kind of already said it. It just makes sense. But I think since I kind of also grew up on it, I would say just the music was like super awesome. I don't know why, but I just like remember like the Finn McMissile theme. Then like his accent is like super awesome, and I think just all of it combined, just again, it was a genius movie idea. It just worked, and I just like it so much. Also, there's like so many references in there that me and my friends will still throw at each other. So that's why.
Yeah, when it comes to me, Princess of Egypt, it's just really the blend of style, I think, in animation. It's really subtle, but if you go like and watch the movie and see how it shifts from like when it's doing a musical number to when it's just, the movie, there's some cool style beats that they do there. And to end out our panel, is there a movie that y'all have not seen that's an underrated film that you like still need to see?
Oh, I need to see The Boy and the Heron. I
Bro.
still haven't seen
Ooh.
it. I still haven't. And I'm waiting for the right time, but I like watching movies for the first time on a big screen. I feel like if I watched it on my laptop, it just wouldn't do it justice. So, yeah.
I need to watch The Wild Robot because I've heard. Like,
Same.
Same as well. Same as well.
hype
Yeah.
about it. I've heard like so much hype about it, like it's like the best thing since anything. So I need to like see it.
Yeah, definitely. Same as well. Like Wild Robot. That's one I need to see.
Wild Robot, yeah. One movie that I will say, like, I just saw recently and I really love, I love to mention, Look Back. It's an anime movie that I just saw, like, the other day. It's super cute. Just wanted to quick plug it.
I can actually think of two. They're also both anime movies: Perfect Blue and The Tale of Princess Kaguya. I haven't seen either of them.
I need to see Perfect Blue. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that about wraps up our panel. Is there anything about animated movies that y'all like to add before we close out our show?
Ooh. I would say they're not just for kids, and you should feel no shame or embarrassment watching any of them. They may be rated PG, but that's okay. Give yourself some lighthearted content once in a while.
I just watched the Lego Movie yesterday for a class, but I mean it was still great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to close out our panel. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all in the next episode of Sneak Peek. Bye.
Bye.